This is the Squint Gaming, and you're watching Squintorials.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Squint Gaming channel. This is the Squintorials video for Photoshop and how to cartoonize your photo, or any photo for that matter. Today, I'm going to do a quick video on how to take a photo of yourself and turn it into kind of a cartoonish thing, kind of like the GTA 5 or GTA. That's one of the biggest things that people like to do is make themselves look like a GTA character, right? All right, so I'm going to show you how to do that. It should be a pretty quick video, maybe 15, 20 minutes, okay? I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds into Photoshop. I will create a different Photoshop Squintorial video, but right now we are just going to go ahead and jump right into it, okay? So first we're just going to go ahead and pull up our Photoshop, and we're going to click New File. And so I like to do, whenever I'm doing any type of like personal photo editing, usually they're like selfies. I'm going to go with like a 600 by 800. All right. So for the width, 600, height 800, you can keep the resolution the way it is. And I always like to work with a transparent background. You can always put a colored background in later on if you choose to do so by adding a layer and then making sure that your photo is on top. Okay. But for this, we're going to go ahead and do a transparent background. And now part of this video, I'm also going to show you just kind of a basic how to remove a background, okay? It works pretty well for most things, but there are times when it doesn't work as well, and you will have to kind of go in with like the eraser tool and clean it up a little bit because the subject selection tool doesn't necessarily always figure out exactly what you want it to select to get rid of, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a photo that I have already ready to go. And it's the one that I have that you see on the thumbnail for the video. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to make this a cartoon photo. Okay, so I'm going to drag the photo in, super simple, just drag it onto your canvas. And I'm going to go ahead and click Done. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go over to the layers channel or panel over here on the side, and I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to go up to rasterize layer. Okay, so this allows you to actually edit the photo itself. If you do not have the rasterize layer, or if you do not click rasterize layer, you will not be able to do anything with your photo, especially removing your background. Now we have the simple option right now of hitting select subject. And what that's going to do is that is basically going to find me, which is what I want it to do. And it's going to put these little dancing ants all around me, which is what I want. Now, I have two ways of deleting the background. But first, what we need to do, because if we were to hit delete right now or grab our eraser tool and try to erase anything, it's going to erase everything inside of the dancing ants here, okay? We don't want to do that. We want to delete everything that's out here. So in order to do that, super simple, we're going to go right down here on this little toolbar down here. We're going to click this button right here. This is the invert selection tool. Okay. So now you'll see that there's no more dancing ants down here, but yet they're all up around here. And if I clear out of there, you can see that there. And if I were to click it back, it's going to put them down here. Okay. Out here is where we want them. Now here we have two options for what we can do. You can hit delete, and it will delete all of this, and boom, you're done. Your background is gone, and you will have a transparent background. The other portion that I want to show you is the eraser tool. And I want to show you this because this is for anything that you're doing. If you're doing, maybe a larger photo, and, maybe you have a full-length photo, and you have stuff that's, like in between your legs or, your arms or something like that. I want to show you that you can erase use the eraser tool to erase your background without erasing yourself, okay? So super simple, go up to your little eraser tool right here on the side panel. And then up at the top here on your toolbar, you can see there's a dot, okay, a little drop down arrow. So right now it says it's at 94, okay? I don't have the image selected, that's why it's not letting me do it. So you always have to make sure that your image is selected in your layer panel, okay? If it's not selected, you'll get that little no symbol, okay? And then as soon as you click on your picture, you'll be able to see your eraser tool come up. Now, so what I was getting back to, with the eraser tool, if you have anything that you want to erase You don't want to do just the quick delete because you need to maybe fine tune it. The eraser tool is great for helping to clean up some stuff. Okay. It allows you to basically utilize the tool on the entire image, but only the area that is selected will get erased. Okay. So you can see right here, I'm just going to go ahead and all the way around. So the eraser is over my face, right? Which is what I want to keep, but it's erasing the stuff that's in the background. All right. So that's because I have the area selected that I want to erase. So it's not going to let me erase anything that I don't want to erase. Okay. Now, you can use the big erase tool, or you can go and scale it down however you want. For something like this, where I have pretty much a large area of stuff that I want to erase, to make it faster, I can just increase the size of my eraser tool. And you can see, like, I can erase almost the whole thing in just a couple swipes, right? It's always a good idea to make sure you go over the whole image just a couple times to make sure that you didn't miss any small, tiny little, marks or whatever. Sometimes if you have something like this and you're just going back and forth, you might miss, maybe a little mark here or there, and then it will show up when you save your image. Okay. And you don't want that. So you can adjust your size right there. Also, just with any type of editing, you can do a soft brush as well. The soft brush will give you that effect, so it kind of fades out the edges of your photo, whatever you're trying to erase stuff with. Okay. All right, getting back to it, I'm going to go back and click on my selector tool up here, and now I'm just going to hit deselect. Okay, so it's deselecting that area that had the dancing ants around it. Okay, now it's focused back on my main photo. And what I want to do now is I'm going to go up here to my image, and I'm going to go down to adjustments, and I want to go all the way down here to shadows and highlights. Now, once I click this, you're going to notice my picture is going to brighten up as it just did there. Okay. Now, the default settings, it might be different on yours. I have not adjusted these. Anytime I've used this tool, I have not adjusted it. It automatically was preset at 35%. Okay. 35% is great for what we're doing. All right. Now you can mess around with it if you want it to be, if you want your shadows to be brighter, darker, whatnot, you can adjust it and see how much it affects it. Okay. So you notice mostly it's my shirt that I'm wearing that is affected by this percentage. Okay. But I like the 35%. So that's what I'm going to keep mine at. And of course, sliding it, I can't get it right back to it. So yeah, your main setting, your preset settings should be perfect for what we're doing here. It just kind of brightens it up a little bit. And then just go ahead and click OK, and we're done with that part. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Filter, and we're going to go down to Stylize, and we're going to do what's called Oil Paint. Okay. So now the one thing we have here is you can see all the bristle details in that photo. This is our preview, and I can go ahead and bring this over to the side a little bit. So this will give you a preview of what it would look like once you hit this effect. And you can also click the preview here so you can see what it looks like on the bigger photo, since this is kind of scaled in a lot. Now, my settings that I have for this is I get rid of the bristle detail altogether. I don't like the bristle detail. It's too much for me, and it just looks it doesn't look cartoonish. Okay. For the scale, I leave mine down at 1. And for the cleanliness, I usually set mine to 2. Okay. And now you can go ahead and mess around with these however you want, however you desire. Adjust your settings as you wish, or you can follow along with mine, and kind of have your photo how mine is. Now, one thing that I am also noticing too, which has not come up before, I'm not sure why it's coming up now, the lighting box. You want to make sure that that is unchecked. You don't want the lighting box. Okay. So you can see the difference there. The lighting also kind of defines some of those brush marks. Even though we have our bristle detail at 0, the lighting is going to kind of define those more. So make sure that your lighting box is unchecked. Okay. You don't want that set. And for your stylization, you can mess around with this however you want as well. Okay. I usually keep mine at 4. But the higher you go, it kind of blurs it out a little bit more, which we're going to end up seeing anyhow as we get further into it, because we are actually going to be doing the oil paint filter a couple different times. So I like to leave mine at 4, just because of the simple fact that we're going to go over it quite a few times with the oil paint filter, and it's going to look more and more like a kind of like a cartoonish type character. All right. So once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and click OK. And now what we want to do is we're going to go back up to image, and we're going to go to image rotation, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. Why are we doing this? So each time we do a rotation, we're going to go in and do the oil paint filter. Okay. So basically all that does is it allows you to, or allows the program to basically make sure that all aspects of the photo in different positions obtains that even oil paint look. Okay. So we're going to do the first 90 degrees. We're going to go back up to filter, stylize, oil paint, and we're going to apply that oil paint again. So it's going to soften up our image a little bit more. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to rinse and repeat. Okay. Image, rotate clockwise, go back to filters, stylize, oil paint. And you're going to see each time it's going to slightly give it more of that kind of oil painted look to it. Okay. All your settings will stay the same from what you had previously set. So all you have to do is just click OK each time. All right. Again, back to image, image rotation, 90 degrees, filter, stylize, and oil paint. Click OK. And then we're going to do this one last time. We're going to do our last image rotation back to where it's vertical, properly vertical. And we're going to do our oil paint. So stylize, oil paint. And we're going to do that last one. So you can see the difference between this compared to what it was originally, right? So my eyes are pretty kind of blurry, right? And that's because of the oil paint. But we still have some more to do with this photo to get it looking more like the cartoon character images from GTA, all right? So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to go up to our filter, and we're going to go to filter gallery. Now in our filter gallery, we are going to click up here on the top, and what we want is the poster edges. Okay. So now you can see that's a big difference from what just the oil paint to adding the poster edges. The poster edges gives some of the detail and makes it more of that kind of cartoonish style. You can see the different tones, the gradient of the different tones from like where my beard is and then where my cheek is, and just some of those shadows that cause that. Okay. Now we're going to adjust this. Actually, my settings here are, I think they're good. Yeah, we want the edge thickness at 2. We want our edge intensity at 1, and we want the polarization at 2. All right. Now you can mess around with these and adjust it how you want it again, or you can go with what I did and leave these numbers with the 2, 1, and the 2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit OK. So there is our photo right now. Now we're not done yet. We're going to keep going. Next thing we want to do, we're going to go back up to filter, and we're going to go to sharpen, and we're going to go over here to unsharpen mask. Okay. Now with this, you want to be about, let's see, I believe this was, we want to go higher. We want to be about 70 on this one. Okay. So this will kind of help smoothen out some of that facial, that texture from the poster edges. Okay. Now, if you want, you can go up even more, and you can see how, how it kind of takes more of that sharpening and fades it in. But it does also distort your photo as well, and it causes some of the highlight areas. So 70, between about 70 and 80 is kind of where you want it to be. All right. Your radius should be at 1 and your threshold at 0. Again, you can mess around with these different settings, and you can set it to how you want it, how you feel it best looks for your liking. But these are the settings that I use, so feel free to use these as well. Okay. All right, so we'll click OK on that. And the next thing we're going to be covering is we're going to go up to noise, and we want to go to reduce noise. Okay. And for this, so our basic default settings, we want to have our strength up kind of high. All right. And we want to reduce the preserved details all the way down to 0. And we want to reduce that color noise down to 0. And the sharpen details down to 0. Okay. So you should be at 10 and 0 for everything else. Okay. So that will give it more of a smooth look, a smoother transition between your different hues. All right. On your face, depending on the shadowing from how you took the picture. Okay. Now, also keep in mind, I didn't mention this earlier. One of the big things people wonder, like, oh, well, I don't have a high quality camera. I took these off of my iPhone. Okay. These are JPEG photos, simply taken from my iPhone camera. I have an iPhone 13. So that's the quality of the image that I'm going with. All right. You typically want to have a pretty high quality photo so that it doesn't get all pixelated. But an iPhone camera or an Android camera should give you plenty of quality into your photo that you need in order to make this kind of really work for the best possible outcome. All right. Okay, so and the next thing we are going to do now, we're going to go back up. Oh, didn't click on my photo. We're going to go back up to filter, and we're going to go to blur, and we're going to go to smart blur. Okay, now with the smart blur, again, this is going to do a little bit more of that blurring effect for the photo, and it kind of helps give it more of that cartoony character look. Okay, so the radius, anywhere between 3 to 5, you kind of want to keep it around 3 because the higher the radius you go, it can kind of really mess up your photo and give it a look that you don't really care for. Okay, so I like mine to be right about 30 to 35. Well, actually, we can go 35 on this one. And your threshold, you can play around with the settings on your threshold. The higher you go, the more kind of blurred out some of those detail lines are. So this is the preview for the 100%. I'm not a fan of how that looks. If you like it, by all means, go right ahead with it. But I like to keep mine down around 25, okay, because it still has some of that detail there in the shading. And then for your quality, you want to make it a high quality photo, okay? Especially if you're going to be using this for other projects, it'll allow you to kind of have be able to expand your photo to work with a little bit bigger photo if you want to. And then your mode, you're fine with just having the normal mode, okay? So we're going to go ahead and click OK there. And then we are going to go back up to filters once again, and we're going to go to filter gallery. And now what we want to do is we're going to select cutout. Okay. So with the cutout, you can see that drastically changes some of that coloring in the photo. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to have the edge intensity or edge fidelity at 1, and we want to have our edge simplicity at 0. And the number of levels, you can adjust the number of levels. Now, depending on how you want your photo to look, is going to be based on what you want to set your levels to. Okay. For this photo, I'm going to have mine set up at 8. Okay. So that is that photo there. Now, I do need to go back up into the filters, and we're going to go back into our sharpen and unsharpen mask. And I'm going to hit OK again. And you don't really notice a whole lot of difference between what I did before and after applying that filter. But there is a slight difference, and you can see there's still that change in some of the different details of the face, the shirt, the transition. So it gives it more of that kind of cartoon look to it. All right. Now, depending on the photo, sometimes I will go and do this, and sometimes I will not do it. It is totally up to you. Sometimes adding just one more filter layer of the oil paint can help kind of smooth out some of those edges or give it a little bit more of that cartoon look. Keeping the same settings that we had earlier. You can preview, what it looks like in here before you apply it, or you can apply it, and if you don't like it, you can just simply hit Control Z and it will undo that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that to mine. And at this point, I am satisfied with how my picture looks. Okay. Again, if you're not, if you maybe don't want to apply all of those additional oil paints, you can, omit those and maybe just do 1 or 2. That is totally up to you. Just mess around with it, and you can, work with all these different filters that I mentioned that we went through, and mess around with the settings on them, see what you like. you have the steps, you know what filters to use to get to this point. It's basically just making it how you feel, you like it, what your liking is for your photo. Okay. So now that we have our photo complete, simply going to go up to File. We're going to click Export, quick export as PNG. Now with the PNG allows the photo to maintain its transparency. Okay. And that is what we want. So I am going to grab the folder that I need, and I'm going to label this Cartoon Face 3. I have a couple others that I worked, so we're going to label that one 3, and that is that. And we're done. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I said it takes a little bit of time to go through and do it, especially when you're trying to figure out the settings and how you want your picture to look. Sometimes different quality photos can work differently, and you won't necessarily get the same effect each time, even working on the same photo. Okay. And as I said too, if you have, the desire to not go through and do every step that I did and maybe do a few less, and you like how that worked, by all means, go with that, go with what you like. But this is how I did mine, and I think it looks pretty good, and it gives it a lot of that GTA 5, poster character look to it. So we are good with that. And also, with this video, you also learned how to kind of get a transparent background and some of the different tools that we used in order to obtain that background. Okay. If you guys have any questions on what I covered today in the video, please make sure you comment down below. I will read those and respond. If there's something else that you're interested in learning when it comes to Photoshop or After Effects, which I'm going to be doing some videos on here soon as well. I do overlays, and I've created some of my own videos. Excuse me. And let's see, logo reveals, GIFs, all that kind of stuff. I've utilized After Effects for that, along with Photoshop. So these are the two that I utilize pretty much all the time when it comes to any type of content creation, so on and so forth. So I will be coming up with some videos for After Effects and some more Photoshop videos as well. But yeah, please comment down below if there's something you'd like to see, something you have questions about, maybe something you need clarification on with this particular video. Yep, please feel free down in the comments, and I will respond as soon as I get notified that there is a comment. So until next time, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope it helps out. Please make sure you hit the like button. The more likes I get, the further this video will reach to help people like you, my viewers, to be able to create content like this. Also, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you are alerted for any of my future Squintorial video uploads and my live streams. So until next time, everybody, peace and love. We are in the holiday season. Take care of each other, okay? Gift of giving is a big thing. All right, we're in a world of hurt right now. Our country is in a bad state. So help each other out, show the love, and be kind to each other. Until next time, Squint Gaming, out.